Hello, hello, and welcome along. Today, we are going to be discussing trusting your spiritual gifts. What is the secret to moving from I don't trust my gifts into total trust of your gifts? And when we're talking about spiritual gifts, what on earth are we talking about? Well, if you've had spiritual experiences, and I suspect you have, that's why you're here with me, then what often happens on the journey, either during the experience or immediately after, or even in the long term after your experience or experiences, is you can tap into greater abilities that perhaps were already there beforehand, or you might discover new abilities that come, it might be like a prickly gift, like a rose, right? It comes, it's beautiful and it's amazing, but it comes with thorns. So the types of gifts that we're talking about, many of them are creative, for example. So there are people who say you love drawing or body authentic movement or, some kind of art form, writing beforehand. Often when people have these spiritual experiences, strong, full-blown experiences, sometimes that process can become very intense. It could be like a download type of experience where you feel yourself kind of open up as a channel and information pours through you, right? You become a vessel for stuff to come out of you, whether it be artwork or writing or sound or dance or expression, right? So these are kind of the very expressive forms that happen. And often in that messaging, there is something beyond us that comes through to be communicated. So it might be, some people do light languages, for example. Some people do particular frequencies. Some people will do a message or something to resonate with others in a particular way. So that is one form that can happen. There are other kind of abilities that we might open up to. So say it's intuitive or psychic skills and abilities as well. So maybe you had a bit of that beforehand, but then through your experiences, something much bigger can open up. Perhaps you get, you get the ability now to hear people who are no longer living, right? That can be terrifying if you've never had that before and if you don't know what's going on and if no one around you understands it either, right? Or you might be able to access visions of some sort. Or you might be able to feel into, right? This is the empathic side. You might be able to feel into the emotions of others. Some people even, you might have medical intuitive abilities and you're able to actually see like X-ray form things that are going on in the bodies of other people or hear their thoughts, right? So any number of gifts, abilities can shine through these experiences and beyond these experiences. But here's the thing, those abilities can sometimes feel a bit alien to us if it's a bit new, if it's a bit out there, and especially if we don't have many people around us who really know what it is, right? And if we don't feel very safe in our environment to start to experiment with them, or if we don't use them very much, right? So we can, especially initially, or if they're still in that unfamiliar relationship with us, we can sometimes not trust those experiences. And one, not trusting from simply not accessing so much, not using and not being familiar, right? Like anything in life, we often don't trust simply because we don't know, right? We just don't know. But as we get to know something, we do something more and more, we can trust that more and more because we have more experience of it, right? It's no different in the world of our spiritual matters. But you might not trust them because perhaps sometimes maybe you've dabbled with your gifts and your abilities, or maybe you've leaned into them a bit or started to develop them, but it got you into a pickle, or it sent you on this wild goose chase, or this wild escapade where you just kind of derailed your life for sometimes, even though there's no wrong paths in life, right? It's all relevant and we can all make use of all of our experiences. There are no mistakes in that way, yeah. But it might have taken you completely off on a different track, which maybe you enjoyed, maybe you didn't. But at this point in your life, you might feel like, I don't know if I want to go down that track all over again because things are kind of going down this direction right now and I can predict it and see it and know what's happening, right? I'm not into that right now. Again, I don't trust where that might take me. Or perhaps you started opening to your experiences and it weirded other people out, or it freaked them out, or it was very challenging and confronting for them. And so maybe you alienated somebody from your life, or maybe you are now afraid that if you do go into it, you will alienate somebody in your life, right? So there are many reasons why we resist and why we are hesitant to tap into things that have been shown to us, to tap into things that we have had a taste of, as Ken Wilber talks about it, right? On our journey of experiences, to taste something, and maybe you want a bit more of that, but to kind of be very cautious on the path there. So how do we go then? What is the secret in going from this place of, I've had these experiences, I think I'd like to get to know them more, I'd like to do it again, or understand more of how that fits into my life, right? And integrate it, make it more of who I am. But I don't quite trust it. I don't know if I fully want to step into it, because I don't know what's going to happen if I do, right? And of course, many things can. We can unleash more of our potential. We can tap into greater things. Our life could change radically. And there's a part of us always that is resistant to change, right? That is hesitant to spin something new into being. And there's also parts of us that we can tap into that are excited to do that, right? So and we all kind of sit on a bit of a threshold of how much we like to do that or not. It's like the risk aversion, right? Or the risk leaning into the risk. So how do we go then from this I don't trust my spiritual gifts place into I have total trust in my abilities? I have total trust in what this thing is that I've come into relationship with. And it's actually really, really simple. It's all about, are you ready? Are you leaning in? You hearing it? It is all about familiarity, repetition, and familiarity. As I mentioned before, nothing different in the spiritual realm in terms of how we would do other things in our life. So, for example, riding a bike, let's go with that one because pretty much everyone knows it, right? We start off, we have our training wheels. We have to learn how to do the training wheels. Yep. So there is a stage there where we have to be supported. There is a stage of scaffolding where we are learning some of the basics and we're a bit wobbly, but we're just understanding, where do I put my hands? How do I put my body? How do I get momentum in this moment? And what on earth am I doing, right? How do I be me with this activity that I am doing to a place where I'm comfortable and confident? And how does comfort and confidence come when we have our training wheels? It comes through continual experiences, continual exposure, doing something again and again and again and again. Sometimes we fall, sometimes we, things are going to happen. We crash into something, part of the picture, right? And yet we get up again and we start cycling again. And one day, we start to approach a point where we think, I'm ready to get rid of those wheels. I'm ready to release the training wheels. And that moment is terribly wobbly. Maybe for a time you take them off and you put them back on again, right? This is the moment of learning greater trust. This is the moment of stepping more into the confidence that you have developed as you now stretch into a next level of your relationship with that activity or with that skill set or with that gift, right? It's the same kind of relationship. So you understand where I'm going with this. And over time, of course, I've never been able to ride my hands without my bikes, but there's many people who can. And how do they do that? It's because they have spent a lot of time on their bikes. Very, very simple, right? So going from I don't trust my spiritual gifts into total trust of it is a road, is a journey of familiarizing ourselves with our abilities, familiarizing ourselves with what this thing is and how am I in relation to it, and how do we work together to do whatever it is about, right? Whether it is to share message with other, whether it is to make the world a better place in whatever way it is that you are here to do. And so goes the journey. Simple stuff, deeply profound, and an incredibly enriching pathway. One that if we say yes to this, it will bring up everything that needs to be brought up to grow us into more and more of our evolution. And so if you say yes to that journey, and I hope that you do, because it truly is one that can give us the deepest fulfillment in our lives and can contribute significantly to others and just be the craziest, wildest adventure. If you do, as you do, say yes to that thing, be prepared for it to bring up the challenges. Be prepared for it to bring up the resistances. It will stretch you. It will grow you because it is part of your dharma, your path, your growing, your beingness, right? Part of who you are and what you came here to do. And the only way we can fulfill that is to do more of it, is to keep getting back on that bike and give it another go. Because, of course, what is the beauty in getting back on that bike again and again and again? In time, we expend less energy. We go and we see further vistas and horizons. We have more adventures. We can even accommodate others on the way because we just get better with our mastery and understanding of it. And so who knows what you can do? Who knows what you are capable of if you step on, if you say yes, if you lean in to the gifts that have presented themselves in your life as an invitation that you are not forced to take, but you can take if you want to. Who knows where it may lead? Much love, as always. I love to hear any shares that you have on this, and I would love to hear about any of those journeys that have opened to you on the way.